know that Haiti's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but because of that poverty, the kids are the ones who suffer the most. So a family will usually send, if they can't take care of their kid, they'll send them to another house. And with the hope of them having an education, having a better life, but they ended up being a child slave. So what we did, this started up 2 years ago. I had the idea, and then last year, around this time, we moved the kids into the house. But we just have a house with a house mother, and we take care of some of these kids. Starting off small with one house. So we have some of the girls. These are the girls right here. And we just take care of them, send them groceries. This is the manager from that side. I raise the money from this end. And hopefully we'll have enough money and we'll learn from this project to set up a bunch more houses. It's called Kainu, this program. It's part of Hearts Together for Haiti, and it means our house. About 2 years ago I had the idea, and then I just started raising money around. I'm from Windsor, and then I got enough money, and last year the girls moved in. So about 1 year we've had this house going. Yeah. And we're learning a lot from it, and it's nice that these girls finally have hope, that they're out of their situation. It's Hearts Together for Haiti, and it's in Windsor that the organization's based. Okay. So this is a project I approached them and I said, hey, would this be feasible, this project? And they said, yeah, we'll support you. And then I just went off raising the money, and it worked out. Where did most of your fundraising come from? It came from mostly individuals in Windsor. I have a few people who sponsor. They're individuals. A few schools donated some money. They'll have fundraisers.
You're ready. So I'm Joan Mason-Grant, and I teach at King's University College in the Social Justice and Peace Studies program. And I'm here in a booth with Salvade. Salvade is a solidarity organization that links Canadians with people in El Salvador, especially the poor, especially the rural poor in El Salvador, and they have a very long history in Canada. And so my connection is that I organized a study trip in conjunction with Salvade to go to El Salvador in May. We took 16 students to go and see the real life, on-the-ground reality of issues that we talk about and study in the classroom. So in El Salvador we visited many rural associations to understand what their situation is and to understand the history of El Salvador. El Salvador comes from a long history rooted in colonization, in which peasants, rural people have been fighting for their land for a long, long, long time through many different revolutions and so on. There was a 12-year civil war that ended in 1991, and peace accords were signed in 1992. And so the country has been a democracy since then. However, it's a struggling democracy, and the rights of the poor and rural folk are still being challenged because land is always at the center of it. Land is constantly being fought over, and if it was land that was taken from poor people during colonization, and now it continues to be the same issue. The contemporary issues have to do with development pressures to, for example, start growing large amounts of corn and sugarcane in order to produce ethanol. Pressures to allow Canadian mining companies to come into the country, mining companies that are now doing exploration in the mountains of El Salvador. And the land that is used in order to accomplish these development projects is always land that people used before that, right, for subsistence work. So the poor keep getting poorer in El Salvador, the wealthy keep getting wealthier, and we went to be in solidarity with the people in the countryside that are poor. They are very well organized, and the level of their organization is left over from the war, and they've been able to very effectively start some microeconomic projects that are very local projects. So we visited some of those initiatives, people trying to figure out how to create a sustainable economic base for themselves and for their communities. They're very strong communities. So some of the places that we visited, for example, was a solar-powered fruit plant. We saw it last year, and it's getting a little moisture sitting out here in the warm sun, but saw it last year and again this year. Well, they've been able to get more solar panels and to build a little house, a cement little house where they can actually dry the fruit, a greater volume of fruit. So these are mangoes here, and these are bananas, and they taste delicious. They're wonderful. So we're selling them here to show people what some alternative economic kind of development is like, and to send money back to El Salvador from the proceeds. These are cashews. We visited a cashew processing plant in one of the rural areas as well, and we also visited a coffee cooperative, and so we're selling coffee and cashews and the dried fruit. And these are all cooperatives, so they're economic initiatives that are organized differently. They're not controlled by a few people at the top, as companies are, corporations are. They're cooperatives in which people are sharing in the profit, and profit making is not at the center of their economic development. Communities are, and people are. So we were really witnessing a kind of solidarity economics in action, and it's pretty powerful stuff.
Well, it's really exciting to just be here as a participant and see how all the processes are coming about, and it seems like people have really gained a sense of ownership over it and sort of set up their own space and engage in the way they want to engage. So it's become like an annual space where people come together and dialogue and network on all sorts of different issues.
Do you think it's growing?
I think it is, in the sense that people are recognizing this as a really important aspect of activism in the city, recognizing that we need this time for ourselves and for our social movements more broadly to come together. And so in the sense of people taking ownership over it and really engaging, I do think it's something that is growing in the city.